According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a raccoon should be able to fly. Welcome back to What a Glitch, the show that probably pays at least 2 people's bills, but is it really worth it? Today we're swinging right into the original Sly Cooper trilogy on PS2. The series was critically acclaimed, and in this Studio R and producer's humble opinion, were some of the best that PS2 had to offer. Today we'll be getting out of bounds, making characters act in ways they probably shouldn't, and as previously seen, launching ourselves into the stratosphere numerous times. So meet us at the rendezvous point and let's sneak right into these glitches. We'll be starting things off chronologically with Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. This was the first entry into the series, which revolved around Sly stealing back his family heirloom book, the Thingus Rackamagucus, which has a lot of nice pictures but way too many big words. And boy are there some fun times to be had with this one. First 2 glitches we got going on both take place right here in Paris, France, the intro level. The older I get, the more I appreciate all the detail that went into it. But what if I told you we could appreciate Paris from another perspective? For this glitch, go ahead and wait through those cutscenes and platform on over to where you would usually break and enter this vent. Instead, jump on top and make your way around the building and get in this corner right here. Essentially, if you jump while staying as close to the building as you can while swinging your cane, most likely after a few tries, you'll end up falling through the fall barrier and down to the streets below. Now you can explore Paris and even get to the Eiffel Tower. And to where the sidewalk ends. My Shel Silverstein-inspired childhood fears have finally been realized. What a rush. Our second glitch takes place in the exact same setting. Do you really hate the tutorial level? Want to shave a couple minutes off your speed run? Well then, this next glitch is for you. Yeah, you. Specifically, Tom. It's funny, a lot of these glitches are actually just speedrunning strategies, but plagiarism doesn't exist on YouTube, so RM Dude Studios lives to fight another day. So you're gonna jump on the air vent you usually go into again, turn the camera so it's a bit easier, and then jump and swing your cane. You should fall right down into the parking lot below and be able to jump into the getaway van and cruise right on over to our next glitch. That's because our next set takes place in the first world of Sly 1, Tide of Terror. The first one here is literally 2 seconds into the level. Signs tell you where to go, right? Well, this one also helps you get there. This sign can be used to launch yourself up above the level, and you can explore a bit and skip some cutscenes. Next, once you're in the main hub world, there's a quick little glitch you can pull off to skip like 4 levels. Essentially, this generator powers a barrier between 2 parts of the hub world, so if you head up this way and time it just right, you can walk by this guard, tricking him into shooting at you while you fall off the roof, and he'll take care of the generator for you. It's pretty cool. But this next part is even crazier. Let's say you're just not a fan of levels in general, right? You just want to get to that tasty boss action. Well, you'd better be good at super jumping. Essentially, super jumping is where you hit the X button right before Sly touches the ground, and this tricks the game into thinking that you didn't touch the ground. A general rule of thumb is if you see a dust cloud, you done goofed. The basic idea is say that you're standing literally anywhere. If you super jump over and jump into a body of water or a proxy, which is an area between 2 objects that basically just wants to launch you out, the game thinks you jumped in there from the last place you were standing, which the game knows was where you were before you started your super jump chain. It can be difficult to get used to, so keep in mind that this is a very hard glitch to pull off, especially if you're like me and only just mastered the super jump. So essentially, you'll want to stand in a specific place behind the cannon that sends you up to Raleigh's boss room. It can differ on what spot exactly works, but this one worked best for me. Start your super jump chain and jump into this weird proxy between the raft and the metal walkway. If you had the position just right and pulled off the chain, you'll end up right in the cannon that sends you up to the first boss battle, Sir Raleigh the Frog. While we're here, I might as well show off our 5th glitch, which can be pulled off when you first meet Raleigh, even though it's much easier if you've grabbed the slow motion jumps power up from the level Fire down below. Luckily, that's one of the first levels in this world, so if you want to grab that first, I highly recommend it. What you want to do is get Raleigh down to 1 hit left, he has 4 total, and hit him just as he goes to jump away after finishing his jump rope tongue attack. If you time it just right, you'll send him into another dimension during his Shakespearean dying monologue.
Blast it all! You've beaten me! Well, gloat all you want, Sly Cooper.
Yeah, sure. Pay no attention to your otherworldly experience, man. However, you gotta deal with it. Another result, if you're a bit off, is simply knocking him much closer to the wall than he'd otherwise be and facing away from the camera. Well, that's it for the first world, and I'd say we've conquered it quite well. Our next world to break will be the second, Sunset Snake Eyes. The only glitch we have here features techniques similar to World 1, but maybe even more difficult. This is, again, one of those situations where if you're not a fan of the game's actual levels, this glitch is for you. After playing through the first level, you'll reach the hub, defeat both guards, then head on over to this little group of rocks to the left of the currently locked building entrance. Enter this weird little area from the left as there's an invisible wall if you try to go in straight on. This is another proxy, or catapult as some prefer to call them. You'll want to keep jumping into this corner here as it can launch you out to varying degrees of height. It takes a while, but eventually you'll find this specific angle that looks sort of like this that will rather consistently get you up to where you need to go. You know, sometimes freak launches can even get you up above the skybox where there's a fall zone, so you just end up falling to your death instead of safely falling back down to earth. Finally, realism in my video games. And the proxy can even freak out and send you under the world. Man, Sly seems really to be taking all this mental trauma pretty well. If I suddenly fell through the ground and ended up staring into the proverbial void of utter death and destruction itself, well, I can tell you I wouldn't be as casual about it as Sly seems to be here. All you can do now is embrace your fate and try again. There's no getting out of being sent down there without dying, unfortunately. After being launched up to this roof, and after enough practice to get it just right, you'll want to carefully jump on over the edges of these rooftops and up onto this ledge here. But like I said, try not to get too discouraged. It takes a lot of practice. And it can be really frustrating, especially since you only get launched up that high certain times, which only allows you to practice these jumps on those infrequent occasions. But anyway, now walk on over about right here, as there's an invisible platform here that you can grab onto. Run along this path, then jump down to this little balcony area right here. If you simply wish to get into Muggshot's second area here, well, then you've done it. But hold on, now if you do a super jump chain, jump down to the main area and then maintaining that super jump chain, jump into the Muggshot face's mustache, there you go, you'll be facing the boss, Muggshot. Pretty wild, huh? Yeah, I sure hope you think so. I spent 4 hours total on those super jump glitches, you ungrateful little... I've been informed by my superior that I shouldn't insult the audience. Well, our next glitch is sure to leave you gasping for air, as we'll now be sending Sly to an alternate dimension. And who knows if there's even air in those, right? Help. We've talked enough about level skips and proxies for now. This glitch is for when you're facing the third boss, Ms. Ruby. Get past her second phase of voodoo DDR attacks and then jump onto her platform. While avoiding her shockwaves, make your way to this general area on this plank of wood here. Then double jump off, aiming for the left wall of her room, as we'll discover that there really isn't one. You'll start paddling in the water until your momentum pushes you through, and then you'll begin your descent into the unknown. But before you know it, you're pulled back up and flung across the map. Good. One small jump for Sly, one terrifying fall for basically everyone. Next up is a more visual treat, this glitch taking place in the 4th episode, Fire in the Sky. For this glitch, make sure you have either the Defy Gravity power-up, which prevents falling off cliffs, or a magic horseshoe, allowing you to take an extra hit. Make your way just a bit through the next level and get yourself situated on this hook. Next, jump off of it and super jump nearly all the way back to the beginning of the level, and voluntarily jump into this body of water here. You'll be catapulted back to the hook, but you'll be stuck in the rock you had to jump around. I'm not too sure how much Sly's enjoying this, but it's probably not too much. If you jump off, he ends up back on the hook, and visibly shaken. Now we're heading to another level in the same episode, The Unseen Foe. Make your way past guards and security and such until you make it to this bridge. Walk on over to trigger this little monkey guard lady to jump down, but do not engage, soldier. Go on up and around the building as quickly as you can, and then you'll most likely hear a rather annoying yet familiar huffing and puffing. Yep, it's that monkey girl. She makes her own fun. And that is unfortunately it for the Sly 1 glitches, but don't you worry, that means we're on to Sly 2, Band of Thieves. First off, as before, we're starting with the tutorial level. The tutorial level for Sly 2 was very interesting, as it was a new yet appropriate setting. A museum completely ready to be ransacked to your delight, and gracefully and stylistically introduces you to the 3 main characters and the base game mechanics. So let's throw that all out the window and completely break it. I think I'd argue that if you're at all familiar with Sly Cooper glitches, this is probably one you've come across, or even done yourself. I know I have. Its difficulty can vary and can be done at different times through different means. Our first route will be to completely 100% the game. Yeah, really starting from the beginning of the game with this glitch. But don't worry, we have a method of doing this much earlier. It just requires more skill than the 100% route. So essentially, the goal is to get up here. As I said, there are 2 ways to do so. Say you've already gotten 100%. Enter from any pause screen the code to warp back to the tutorial level. Right, left, up, R1. Then use the code to unlock the mega jump, which only works if you've 100%ed the game. Right, left, R1 left. Then assign the mega jump to whatever button and use it to jump up to the ledge. But if you want to do it the hard way, basically you need to get good at what's called the high jump. Essentially, if you swing your cane, then while holding the square button very quickly do a double jump, you'll go higher than a regular double jump. You want to jump on this plant right here and then high jump towards the middle of the top of this door. It can take some time, but eventually almost right after you land, regular jump again to grab onto this ledge right here. Then subtly and carefully jump along to the right and you'll be able to access the same area. Now, there are a few different ways to get out of bounds here, but the way I did it was to face towards the camera, jump while holding forward, then letting go of forward, swinging your cane, which should send you sliding out of bounds. You're outside the tutorial. You can now explore the surrounding areas and inaccessible places you'd only be able to look at from a distance before. These pig guards, they're really dumb. Some places you can't go, as you'll just fall and die, and in other places you'll just fall, and fall, and fall, with enough time to contemplate existence. Another glitch I found in the tutorial was the one first showcased in this video. When you're talking to Bentley about how you'll need to jump and press the circle button after the Binocucom cutscene turns off, if you try to use your downward spiral attack move on this table, you just may be shot up into the air. I have no idea what triggered it and I wasn't able to duplicate it again. I restarted the tutorial level like 2 more times. I did everything I did in that run all over again, but just couldn't get the same thing to occur. And I couldn't find this glitch anywhere else online. So it seems like we have a Studio RM exclusive on our hands. Sly, the people want to know, how does it feel to have taken part in a completely newly discovered glitch?
Pretty well.
Improper grammar, but I'll take it. Moving forward, we have a slightly interesting glitch that's worth note. If you revisit the first Sly 2 episode, The Black Chateau, after beating it, jump up the downed nightclub sign and jump just like this over the top of it, then hit the circle button. You'll find that Sly slides like butter right off the point of contact and out into the open air. It's really amusing. If you mess around with the joystick, you can slowly walk in midair above patrolling guards down below. It's just bizarre. And upon being slid back to the main point, Sly has a bit of a bad leg day. That looks neither good nor comfortable. Sly, you got a doctor appointment set up for that, right? Our next glitch is the infamous car glitch in the same episode. This is another one I believe is rather well known, as I'd assume most people discovered it accidentally. Essentially, this car right next to this building can send you flying if you jump and press triangle, the downward spiral move, right in this little spot between the car and the building. There's some variations to the extent of your launches, but some can get really crazy. I dig it. Next, we'll be going to episode 4, Jailbreak. For this one, you'll need Bentley's jetpack power-up. Choose Bentley as the episode starts, and then run all the way down the train track. Then, once you get to the end, jump out, then back in, and use the jetpack to float through the wall here under the area you just were. Then, you'll jump down on this invisible floor and be able to walk around on absolute nothingness. Bombs don't stick on this walkable area though for some reason. They just fall into eternity. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about these kinds of glitches, other than they still freak me out. But we have something interesting in the next episode, the similarly themed A Tangled Web, and you can only do this glitch after there are planes flying around everywhere. In the hub world, you can spire jump on these Gothic buildings, right? Well, if you jump and press the circle button on the right one and wait for a plane to come by, it'll hit you head on and the game will send you skyward. And they told me raccoons couldn't fly. Well, look at me now, huh? Well, that's it for the important Sly 2 glitches. A few others we could have mentioned would just be repeats of similar glitches, just in different places and slightly different circumstances. So, to prevent repetition, it's on to Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves. We'll be going in technically chronological order of when you see certain environments, but keep in mind you won't be able to do some of these right when you start up your system, specifically this first set of glitches. We'll be heading to the very first quote-unquote tutorial level. Our first step will be to jump on this rope here, and then like so, jump onto this tree. Then using the Feral Pounce jump move, Feral Pounce double jump over to this second tree. Some of these landings can be hard to pull off, so don't feel discouraged if it takes you quite a few times to get a hang of it. Next, do that exact same jump, except at the peak of the double jump, open your parachute to get some extra airtime. Next, make your way across the top of the giant armored gate and attempt to do one of those same jumps, timing it just right to land on this tree. Then once you've done that, do another jump with parachute, aiming at this little plot of land here. Now you can explore Cane Island to your heart's content. By continuing down the path a bit, you can perform this gem of a visual glitch. It's beautiful. You can also visit these dumb guards as well. Why is it that Sly tutorial level guards are always the dumbest kind of guards? You can just kind of wander around and explore, but there's not much more to say about it. It's mostly empty space, so take it with what you will. It's neat. The next glitch on our plate is from the first episode of Sly 3, An Opera of Fear. Basically, you can try this one out as soon as you get to the final operation mission when you're attempting to confront Don Octavio. And by confront, I mean drop a chandelier on his head. But just as you enter the mission, in disguise, take it off to fail the mission. Now, as you restart the room, go into the power-up selection menu and change the assigned button of your disguise. Suddenly, you'll be out of your disguise having not failed the mission. You can aggressively take on all the baddies in the room or sneak right on by with some feral pounces to get to the door where you and Octavio would normally do the double button press in disguise. However, Octavio instantly realizes you're a threat and starts attacking you like he does in his actual boss fight. But since there's no tar to stop him, you can't actually damage him, and he's completely invincible. But it is fun to lead him out of that basement room and let him attack surrounded by an army of hipster birds and opera cats. It's completely nuts, man. It's real entertaining watching him just inadvertently wreck all of his own goons. But we do have another quick glitch within this episode. After beating Octavio and therefore the level by extension, you can revisit the little opera area you initially fought in, and you'll find a floating, glowing blue aura. And you know what that means. Jump in, press that circle button to run along that rope and you'll be in midair. It's not very flashy or even very interesting, but it's there. And us here at Studio Arm have certain integrity to uphold. We just gotta show you these glitches, man. I mean, it's in our contracts. But now, instead of just weird or game-breaking glitches, let's look at an actually useful one for our final glitch. In Sly 3's third episode, Flight of Fancy, you can do something pretty fun with Murray. Select the big guy from the safe house, then make your way over to this lamppost nearby. If you run at it from behind or in front, at a certain point this hidden proxy will repel you out and you'll go flying. It's good for your bounce move, as you can travel the map much quicker than running, and even get up to the Zeppelin, something I'm pretty sure Murray can't do otherwise. It's always fun seeing the guards' reaction to hearing you crashing down behind them, only to then smash their skulls in with the Murray. Well, hope you enjoyed this video. Justin said I should produce a video for him, so here we are. If you did enjoy this barrage of Sly Cooper glitches, consider leaving a like and maybe even subscribing or sharing it. It helped me getting good with the big J if this video does well. But that's it for me. If you like my voice and general comedic timing, consider heading on over to my channel, Adamnator, for some more yelling about video games aimed at a more mature audience. There, now it's not my fault if you get in trouble. Have fun pulling off these glitches, have a great day, and remember to stay golden.